Hi, welcome to Oma's No Sugar Kitchen.
Oregano.
Hey, it's September, and it's tomato canning time. Each year, at some point between the middle of September and the beginning of October, we head out to the local farm market stand. I always look to see what other vegetables they have available, but I pick up a pile of tomatoes. This year, I got 2 of their only 3 remaining boxes. And here's the pile of colorful goodies I brought home. Today, I got a whole bunch of really nice stuff. I got some fresh kale, some fresh iceberg lettuce. It's a really nice head of lettuce there. Some organic squash. Yeah, I got some berries here. Purple bell peppers. That's not your screen showing them a weird color. Those are actually purple bell peppers. So we're gonna give these a try in a stir fry with the squash and onions and fresh tomatoes. So I love the colors of these, and I just think it'll make the most beautiful veggie stir fry that we'll do. I got this giant organic seedless watermelon, and I get these field tomatoes. Each box is a half a bushel, so it'll end up being a bushel of field tomatoes that I peel and crush and make cans and cans of crushed tomatoes. And if you missed my canning tomatoes video, it's on my channel. I'll provide a link to it here, but in that video I show you how I do this every year. I can tomatoes in the middle or end of September, depending on how hot. And this has been a really hot summer, so I knew that these would be ripe early. So we will can those, and then we use those all winter. I use them in stir fries. I use them in homemade spaghetti sauce. We'll be making no sugar homemade spaghetti sauce. I even cook them down and make a homemade pizza sauce. The difference in the flavor of these compared to the commercially canned ones in the store, it's amazing. So this is definitely worth the time to me and my family. I'll use them for chili as well. Tomatoes don't spike my blood sugar as long as I include them with proteins. So proteins and greens, and then the canned tomatoes, and I do just fine. So I wanted to share this with you. I'm getting ready to do a whole bunch of canning over the next few days. I will post a quick video on this, which will give me time to edit all of the new things I have filmed for the channel. I have to run all my jars through my dishwasher on a heated dry cycle and get them all sanitized before I use them. And once I have those all done, I can sit them out on my island and get everything set up for canning. You can see my fire already going in the background there. I wash the tomatoes in my colander in the sink, and then I boil them a little bit to get the skins to loosen up so that I can skin them before I crush them up. And you can see the skin sort of split on that one. Some of this footage is from my canning tomatoes video on my channel. Once they are skinned, I crush them up, and I just cook them long enough to create this bright red crushed tomatoes for canning. When the pot is full, I'm ready to fill some jars, and you have to include some lemon juice. This prevents bacteria from growing. It raises the acidity of the tomatoes. A couple of tablespoons for the big jars and 1 tablespoon for the small jars. I have boiled off the lids, and I fill the jars, and then I will put the lids on and seal them. The magnet that came with my canning kit is very useful. It lets me pick up each lid and put it on the jar without touching it with my fingers. Then I can put the ring on and seal it tight. Once I have a bunch of jars ready to go, I get the water heating up in my water bath canner, and the first jars I put in right next to where the handles hang over the edge. Then I can balance the rest of the jars as I put them in on the rack. The water is heating up the whole time I'm doing this. Then lower the rack with the jars and be careful not to burn your fingers. Let it go ahead and drop in there. And you want the water to be at least an inch or two above your tallest jars. Put the cover on your canner and then really get the water boiling. You're going to want to babysit this until it gets really going because you don't want it to boil over. The water is very close to the top of the canner. These are processed for 90 minutes in the water bath canner, and then I can lift the rack and start lifting out the jars. Don't touch them with your bare hands because they're really hot. I let the excess water drain off, and then I set them on a wooden cutting board, and I use a kitchen towel to dry them off a little bit. As they cool, you'll hear the buttons on the lids pop as the jars seal. And then there's a bunch of jars of beautiful red crushed tomatoes, and we will use those all winter. This year, I actually have a bushel to process, and it does take 2 or 3 nights to get through them all. The flavor they add to my winter dishes is so worth the effort. The link to my original tomato canning video will be in the description, and thank you so much for coming with me on my canning adventures in September. Thank you for joining me in Oma's Kitchen. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll upload more tasty videos soon, and a special shout out to Moon Pie and Lil Bit. Till next time.